extrapolated for the current depth where we drill a borehole to 600 feet and proposed that we'd expect a screen of a total of 500 feet of casing with 150 feet of screen. We ran out the bid prices, and it's $349,000 to make this a well and pump for each well times 3 comes up to $1 million, $1,047,000. Now, in order to do that in the field for several months of field services and construction management, it's about $40,000 per well. We need to stake the wells, so there's a minor survey charge. We also need to do the CDPH, the Health Department, DSWAP, which is the Drinking Water Source Water Assessment Protection Plan that we have to do for each and every part of the well. So that number is included. So when you roll those up, it's approximately $1.2 million of additional cost to drill the additional 3 wells. But you also have to equip the wells, and you have to pipe the wells into the collection system. So we looked at the original numbers that we had when we had 7 higher producing wells, and we ran the numbers for 10 wells. We had only moderate production, a couple low and a couple high, basically lower production overall. And the cost comes out to about $4.4 million, when the previous estimate was $4.1 million. So this is about $300,000 of an increase in your expected well equipment costs, which will be coming to you next year. Now the piping cost, the well collection piping, was originally estimated at $1.4 million. Price that we provided to you, an estimate we provided to you a year ago. And the current estimate for the stick diagram that you saw in these sketches is about $1.65 million, or about $250,000 more. So when you roll those together, the cost to drill the additional wells, to equip the additional wells, and to bring them into the system for collection, with the number at the top, about $1.75 million to drill the additional 3 wells.
Is at 83% of historical levels, which is, starting the year out slightly lower than we'd like to see. San Luis is quite a bit lower than we normally see at 61%. It did snow up in the Feather River Basin, and they expect some rain this week. The initial allocation we should hear at Aqua on first part of December. This is the reservoir conditions. You can kind of see where Oroville stands, in comparison to some of the other reservoirs. Again, San Luis is 61%, 34% of capacity. So it's starting out the year a little on the low side. So we need a good, healthy season this year. This is the Oroville chart, and again, you can kind of see where we started last year versus where we are at this point. So substantially lower. What are we looking at? Maybe 1 million acre-feet lower in Oroville. And the blue line is the actual storage. The red line is the flood control storage. So you can fill up to the red line. So we got plenty of space. This is San Luis. Again, pretty low starting out this year. The water year actually officially starts on October 1st. We do have 13,000 in carryover, so we kept that kind of as a buffer to see how the allocation starts out this year. So it looks like we'll have plenty of time to get that out of San Luis, and it's probably a good insurance policy. As far as water banking, operations and water quality, we're just running kind of test amounts into the water bank, 5 CFS, so we're not really actively recharging in our water bank right now. Port Sill is 13 MGD, Roseman 5.5, East Side at 3, and Acton is off, and we're doing a little bit through the exchange, the Acton PWD exchange. We do have THM testing for the LA part of our system on Thursday. And we have a goal of 80% of the standard, and we've been well below that standard so far. We don't expect
2012 administrative positions. Tonight's agenda includes 2 new administrative positions created by the district, Director of Fiscal Services and Director of Personnel. These are agenda items 7F and 7G. There are also the associated salary schedules in 7H. In their last meeting, Mr. Weinstein and Mr. Coleman discussed these new positions. RTA understands the needs of the district and the justification for adding the positions, but there are some reservations. First, is there going to be any increase in the cost of salaries from the general fund? With the resignation of the superintendent and change from CBO to CAO for Mr. Weinstein CBO, compared to the 3 salaries of CAO and Directors of Fiscal Services and Personnel, they need to be equal or less. Second, the salary for the Director of Personnel is substantial, the same as the position of high school principal, and more than almost all certificated positions in the district. This infers the Director of Personnel will be a certificated position. The job description in the board packet shows that a certificate is preferred. RTA requests that it be mandatory. All administrators in the district with authority over the certificated staff should also possess an appropriate credential. Thank you.
Well, the site plan was approved by the board last board meeting. You can see that that's still up there. Roseman Elementary School is next, which I'll present tonight, and then the high school is still being worked on. Just to remind everybody that the site is done by not only myself and the architects, we include a project site committee. And a project site committee includes various people within our district that have input into what the site should look at and looking at the different things. So we have the principal of the site, input from their educational staff. We have special education. We have the assistant superintendent of education there. Myself, looking at the business services. We have Raleigh Davis, our director of M&O. We have Bob Ronette, our director of IT. And so we approach this in a group so that everybody has input into the various things that we are looking to do in order to make sure that our campus meets not only all the needs for the students, but also operationally the needs for the support staff as well as the teacher. Entering the district offices now, we would create obviously a larger drive entry here, and then we would create parking structure off of our private drive, and as the buses came through, we'd also have bus drop-off. That, during our project committee meeting with our board last night, we decided that we would need to address some of the issues with the bus drop-off. So this area here with the bus drop-off will actually be modified. We're going to be looking at extending the parking lot and creating a drop-off with the buses closer to the actual school so that they wouldn't have to walk as far, especially the younger children, and looking for a better bus chute. We have in the very entry here, we have our kindergarten area that is separated from the rest, yet giving them almost direct access to the lunch area and very close to our administration building so that supervision is there constant. We, just similar to the Tropico area, we are building a state-of-the-art library with a computer lab in it, as well as creating the center courtyard throughout the school, similar to what we really appreciated about Tropico, not only the center courtyard, but the fact that we will have multiple shade areas, as well as plenty of trees and everything to keep the same type of rural atmosphere. And then we have added our buildings, where we have 4 major buildings that will have hold all the children, and this is looking at, we are building to a 900 to 1,000 children site. Although we believe that possibly in the near future, if we keep growing, a 3rd elementary school is very, very possible to limit that, but the actual capacity here is we're building close to, for 900, we are currently getting close to, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we're around 742s.
758 as of this morning.
758 as this morning. So you can see we're growing